Welcome to Leveling Up with Lindsay, the podcast where we dive into leadership, small business, and everything in between. I'm Lindsay, your host and the proud owner of White Peony Boutique, a space created to empower women, build confidence, and foster meaningful connections. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a mom, a friend, or someone just looking for a little inspiration, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Join me as we share stories, strategies, and a little bit of life's chaos while navigating what it truly means to level up in starting a business, relationship, and personal growth. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's level up together. Hey friends, welcome back to Leveling Up with Lindsay. This episode is raw. It's unfiltered, and it's exactly what I needed to say out loud. And I think maybe you do too. Today, I'm joined by someone who walks through the thick of life and business right beside me. She's bold, fast-paced, funny, and fiercely loyal. She's my teammate, our operations director at White Peony Boutique, and one of my closest friends, Miss Autumn. But this episode isn't about business. It's a life episode. We're talking about the chaos, the pressure, the emotional whiplash of trying to be everything to everyone and still wondering if you're doing enough. This conversation is for the woman who shows up with a smile even when her soul feels exhausted. For the one who leads others, raises a family, or simply tries to hold herself together day after day without applause. If you've ever felt like you're spinning, stretched thin, or slightly questioning your worth in the whirlwind of it all, this one's for you. Because even in the mess, you're still made for more. So I have Autumn joining me again today, which I'm so excited. Today we're going to get a little bit deep about the messy chaos in the middle.
Said I was perfect for the job.
So the topic that we're going to talk about is a little bit deep, a little bit real, hopefully can resonate with everyone. This is the myth of having it all together. So from business to being a parent, to being a wife and a friend and multitasking and all the things, just because we make it look easy doesn't mean it's not hard. And we literally were just talking about this not that long ago.
Yes. It's a myth, everyone. The premise of this is it's all a myth.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that and just the busyness of schedule.
Yeah.
Everybody is busy. I think that's funny because it's when we have this conversation, you're like, oh, I'm just exhausted. Or someone comes in and is like, oh, I did this and I'm so busy. And you're like, well, I have this, and this on my list. Tell us a little bit about what your day looks like or week, like on a given week, like what you juggle. Let's give a little background first before we start.
Yeah. So typically I get up about between 4 and 4:30 in the morning. Yeah. I do my workout in the morning, either at K-Power, shout out to the St. Joe location, or I do my workouts at home. And then it's the me time where I get myself ready. I try to get everything done before I wake up my kids because that is when the chaos really ensues. And then it's getting kids off. I'm kind of the default parent in our relationship. My husband's already gone by 4 a.m. So he is an extremely hard worker. So it's me. So I'm getting the kids ready, getting them to school. Yep. Then I come and work a full day. And then a lot of times the kids have stuff in the evenings, shoving a sandwich in their mouth and getting them out the door, going to their events, getting them home, settling them down. And then you got to figure out what you got to get to of your own accord in the evening and then hopefully get a good night's rest, which I'm still working on.
She is recovering. No, she's working through this because I think in one of our episodes, I spoke about how you listened to it. You said, Autumn goes, this needs to go viral because I talked about getting sleep.
Yes.
And I think that resonated with you a little bit.
It does. I constantly get yelled at by my Oura Ring and my watch saying, you're an idiot. You need to sleep more. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe one day.
Yes. Okay, so that's a whole different therapy session. Yeah. I'm going to rapid fire a few questions here. This is something that amongst all the crazy, amongst the busy, you're very intentional with your time also. You're very good at this. You and I both have gone through a little bit of a journey of taking a step back, slowing down, breathing when we need to, pouring into us, which is not always perfect. But I have this question and it hit me really hard. And I was like, I'm going to ask this to Autumn. What does strength actually look like for you when no one's watching? And I think this is going to nail on the head what kind of our theme is and what we've been talking about together for a very long time now.
So you had sent me this list last night and I was looking through it this morning and I actually was like, that's a hard question.
It is.
Because I wanted to have this like big epiphany moment, but I actually think strength is in the small moments.
I agree.
It's in all those tiny moments, those tiny wins, those little stepping stones that you're working towards that build up over time. It's not just one day where you're like, this is strength. It's so much deeper than that. And it's such an evolving muscle.
And we're going to actually go back to this question a few times here, because in the myth of having it all together, I think the strength, the power to keep putting one foot in front of the other or keep going, but there's power to like recognizing and being mindful.
Yes.
Of like taking care of yourself, slowing down and being present, and so on and so on. So we'll talk about that, I think, throughout this a little bit.
I think with that being said, strength comes in those moments when it is hard and you're looking around saying, how can I do this? How can I keep going? But you keep moving forward. You keep falling forward. Even though it might feel like a flop or a failure, it isn't. It's just a stepping stone of resilience and so much growth inside of yourself, because you conquered it and you sometimes don't even realize it.
I agree. It's pretty powerful when you get to a point in your life where you like lay down and you're exhausted or you fall asleep so hard you can't even, you're like, stop breathing. You're sleeping so hard because you're so tired. And you wake up or you're in bed and you're like, wow, I did that. Like, I freaking killed it today. Yeah. And I think that is an incredible accomplishment and a strength to be like, look at me. I think it's something that we need to do more often. Now, speaking of falling apart, have you ever had one of those days? Like, give us a specific moment where you're falling apart on the inside, but you powered through.
Ooh, a specific moment?
I think, like an example.
Yeah, there have been many days where I think you just feel like, you know, Murphy's Law, when just everything goes wrong and you're just feeling like you are Murphy's Law, like where you just feel like everywhere you turn, nothing's going right. But for a person like me and my personality, I'm a very like, I put my heart on my sleeve, you know exactly how I'm feeling. And for the most part, that's who I am. And it's really hard to change that. But I have learned in the professional setting that there are moments when you have to learn to compartmentalize the fact that home is home and here is here. And this could be a place where you can kind of spin it to be something different and not sit in that chaos.
I love that. I have had to talk to many individuals throughout my career as far as coaching and leadership and whatnot about it is really hard to walk into a setting and kind of flip the script in your mind. It is difficult. It takes time. It's kind of a journey and a process, but something I challenge a lot of people to do. And I'm not perfect by any means. There are mornings where you're not feeling good. Like I always say, if you're not feeling good, I'm kind of a black and white. I'm like, go home. And that's not a bad thing. Like, or if you're okay, then you're good to go. But I want you to come in and be just ready. Or when you are moving from one job to the other, or from school to a job, or from family to a job, or vice versa, from work to family. It is very important for everybody that you walk in with the right mindset. And sometimes it's a little bit challenging.
I think, but I also challenge that in the sense of sometimes you do have to be honest with the people in your life.
I agree with that. Good call.
Because I'm a person too that if I'm always going to think you're mad at me if you come in and it has nothing to do with me. But sometimes you have to lean into your coworkers or your employer and say, you know what, I'm having a really tough day. Like, I'm fine and I will be fine. I just probably am going to look a little off today. And that's okay. You can honor that in that same regard.
I think the honesty is really great for that, though. I think, it just gives people space to be like, not question. I mean, let's be real. I have managed many, many girls in my past on teams, and we have an incredible team here of girls and women that are freaking awesome, by the way.
Side note, they are awesome.
However, I have been asked this question many times. How do you do it with all girls or all women in the same room? I'm like, it's easy. It is being mature and honesty. Easier said than done, but when you can move forward in that, it makes life just easier when we're working together. Because, us women, we got things going on. We're busy.
Well, and I think it's honoring everyone's strengths and weaknesses too, because not one of us is the same. Not one of us has the same personality. Even you and Mama Jane, who come from the same cloth, are not the same human,
I agree. Personality quizzes within the workplace are really awesome. It's also great on a personal level, just to understand your own self and emotions a little bit. I remember taking my first personality quiz and I was like, well, yeah, I could have told you that. And I remember taking a snippet out of that and being like, oh, you're right, I am like that. This is how I respond or react to something. And it's just a good kind of self-development. 100%. Okay, what's something people assume about you, Autumn, that isn't true, and maybe amongst this, the myth of having it all together?
Yes, everyone always assumes I'm always happy. They're just like, you must just always be happy.
She's in a lot of energy.
Yeah, but like, I actually recharge in the silence of my own home. Like,
that.
I feel like everyone says this because it's like, it's a really good medium, but like an extroverted introvert. I love people. I can hang out. I can talk all day. But will I be exhausted by the end of the day? 100%.
Yes.
I give my whole self into everything that I do. So sometimes just sitting in silence and being around no one, talking to no one is actually exactly where I need to be. And sometimes I'm not happy. I cry a lot, And so it's just one of those things that you honor all those feelings. I have
love
a
that.
lot of feelings.
I love that you said that sentence. You honor all those feelings. First of all, when Autumn walks in a room, like she picks me up. Sometimes I can come in with a crazy, silly attitude, and I'm like, I'm going to do weird things because I want people to have a great day and I want you to smile and laugh. And then there are days where I too am tired. And there's been so many times when you've walked in the door and you're like, hey, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. So you're definitely known for walking in a room with loud confidence, but what they don't see is sometimes you need the silence to just take a breath,
Yes.
which is so valid.
Yeah.
I'm known for like driving with zero music on because I need to debrief.
My brain is going through all the checklists of things to come, things that happened, and just like, what am I doing?
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your high energy here for a hot minute. Something that I wish, like when I first met you, I was like, can I have a little piece of that? Can I just please? But has there ever been, a time where you felt misunderstood from your high energy or...
Oh.
I don't think you're blunt.
No, I thought it too, and I was like,
You're not.
No.
You're not that. I was like, you're not blunt. But I just think, have you ever been misunderstood for high energy?
Yeah, and it is something that I talk about a lot because in my childhood, I was always told I was too much, and I kind of prided myself on being a chameleon. I was like, well, if I'm too much for these people, then I'm going to act this way. And then these people, I know I can act this way. And I really tried to learn and adapt to the people I was around. Then I learned that the friends that I was attracting were not my actual friends. The real me, when I was able to like just let that out, is when I attracted, and I still have my lifelong friends from middle school, high school, because it's just me. And I think learning to be my authentic self was hard because I felt like I was always judged for being too much, my high energy. And sometimes I didn't know how to tone it down sometimes in inappropriate settings. But now as I've matured, I know like, hey, maybe don't act that way at this place. And it's like, that's just called maturity.
Maturity, but I also like when I first met you and we talked a little bit about that chameleon.
Yeah.
And I remember when you first came in, and you have always been high energy. There's nothing fake. It's completely genuine. But there was a moment that I was like, I know that you're still covering something. I want to see the real Autumn.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell, like from when I first met you years ago to now, you are your most genuine self.
Yeah.
And there's something so powerful and so beautiful about that.
Yeah.
Take me as I am.
I think too, sometimes, like how funny people usually come from a lot of trauma, like a lot of times they have a lot more things. But I was always like the class clown. I was like, if I can make you laugh before you see the real me, then you're not actually going to dig any deeper. You're going to stay right here. So I think it's probably kind of a defense mechanism, but now it's become my personality. So
I think moral of this is it's just because someone's loud and higher energy, it doesn't mean they're not carrying something heavy.
Yes.
Or there's like walls that you need to like kind of break through a little bit. So with that, how do you take care of your own heart when you bring energy to others? Like, how do you protect yourself a little bit? Now, you said protect yourself as far as like figuring out the real me, but how do you protect your truest heart?
That was another one of the questions I kind of got stuck on because I was like, this is something that I think I still am working on.
Yeah.
I'm a person that like loves with my full heart. As much energy as I bring that full energy into every relationship that I have.
Yep.
And if I don't feel reciprocated, I take it really hard. I think it's my fault. I go through this spiral. But I've kind of learned that you can just take it and leave it. And I have to be okay with that. You have to honor someone might be having a crappy day and it's not your fault and you might not be able to fix it. And I always want to be the fixer and make people happy. And like when I can't achieve that, I'm like, she hates me. It's like, you know what? She's probably just having a poopy day. And you're like, I'm going to do my best and be here, but like I can't hold that for her. When people talk about being empaths, I know like some people input eye rolls, but like I feel people's emotions
Big time.
so hard. And sometimes that's really hard to release.
That is very relatable to myself because I can sense in a second you step foot in the door if something's going wrong.
Yes.
You don't have to say anything. My husband once said to someone, he goes, hey, she knows if you don't want to be here. It's not a mean thing. It's not a bad thing. It's not a this or that. But I truly, like work, personal life, anything in between, I know in a freaking hot second if you want to be there or you don't. And you just know when something's off with something. I think that's a good quality.
It's a curse and a blessing.
It's a good thing because some people need people like us.
Yes.
However, it is a curse because it takes a lot of your energy.
100%.
It really does.
100%. It's all consuming. You literally feel it. Yeah.
Is that something that you think you're figuring out? Like, I'm trying to think process-wise, and with this messy middle, I think the emotions behind being an empath and just like sitting in our own, that's got to be what we're figuring out.
Sitting in it is gross.
It's
and
a
that is
process.
such a process. And it's something I still try to sit and do a lot of times because sometimes I go so fast. My feet are going way faster than my body is. And then I take a step back and like really analyze how I'm really feeling, how it's really going. You know, you kind of have to do like a temperature check on like your family life and your home life. Yeah.
It's true. It's hard. You get to a place like the old Lindsay would never have been like, just sit and like think about what you're going through right now. Like feel the feels. I think my best friend and has brought that to the table so many times. Miss Tara, she's like, you can just feel the feels. Like you're good.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? You're freaking right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep crying or something. Or if you're mad, there's a reason for it. Or if you're just so like, I think the journey, when things are chaotic, for me, when I'm exhausted, I am constantly reevaluating where I'm at.
Yeah.
How could I have done better? And maybe how could I just like forget about it? Like, how do I,
Yeah. That's growth. We're always growing.
incredible.
Yeah.
So when everything is busy, life on a personal level, at work, of course, and it just gets messy.
Yeah.
Messy middle. Let's talk
really
about the
messy.
middle. How do you get through that? Like when the emotions are high, when the chaos is going, when your schedule is out of control, how do you get through it?
You lean in on the people around you because I think for me personally, I have a tough time asking for help.
Yes.
And there are moments that you just need a raft. And I think also just honoring the fact that it is messy. Balance is also a myth. Like there's going to be times and places and seasons in your life where one's going to be a little bit taking precedent over the other, but like just know that that's okay. Like you honor it still. You know what? Right now, this is our busy season in my children's lives or my work's lives. But like knowing that you're going to come back to the other side. It's always a teetering point that it's okay.
I'm going to have a panel in here where we talk about the seasons of life or have it in the store because when I first heard the analogy, of course I knew this.
Yeah.
But what really struck me to my core is when someone says it's just a season. And I was like, oh my God, that's all I needed to hear. Because you give yourself that approval or that denial to be like, you're good. Like just, it's a season. Like you can get through this. But then you're going to give yourself a little time, a little more, rest after the season. Or I have people who are like, Lindsay, you got to slow. Like, are you going to ever stop doing this or that? And it's like, yeah, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And there was a point in time where I actually felt guilty because I was doing too many things, like doing too much. And I was like, you're right. Am I failing everyone because of this? And everybody in my circle was like, you need to honor your body. You need to do this. You need to rest. You need to whatever. And I was like, absolutely, absolutely. But like, when is it going to be enough? Like it was constant for a little while. And I finally had to step into my shoes and say, I'm not ready to slow down yet. This is hustle. This is what I'm choosing.
Yeah.
And that's also a freaking girl thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, right now, I'm go mode. These are the new things I want to come up with. And I'm just not ready to settle. I could be this little storefront on the corner and be completely happy with it and a beautiful, simple life. And I'm not there yet. I don't want to be that.
Yes.
There's just too much in so that was also a thing for me. That is like completely opposite too in moments because I recognize that this is a season and then there will be moments where I'm like I need to completely disconnect. I have grown so much of myself and I know you have over the last 5 years of just owning this business, but even in the last year where I'm like, hey, I'm out for the weekend. I'm out. Like, please, I'm out. Like disconnecting from.
That used to never happen.
Never. 7 days a week. And it still is very far and few between.
Yeah.
However, when I finally put my foot down and I say, no, I really, really mean it.
We were working nights and weekends all the time. Like it would never stop. And at that moment, that's kind of what we needed for the business to grow. But then as people came on, you realize like, I don't need to do that. You need to start fresh. You need to have that rest to come back.
Yep.
with more.
Yeah, again, it is so important. I feel like right now, I don't know, from where I was 10 years ago, and I think you can say the same thing, I feel like I'm in the messy middle.
Yeah.
I'm living it right now. But I also understand for myself, what it takes to get to, dreams and where I want to be. I kind of have like a soft goal, let's say, because P.S., did you know, I haven't said this for a long time. I actually hate the word goal because I hate goals. Because I feel like goal is an option. Have you heard me say this?
Mic
It's
drop.
been years, I think, since you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
I hate the phrase or word or whatever it is, goal or goals or this is your goal or whatever. Because to me, it's not like it's going to happen. It's an if. It's a question mark. I'm doing this in my lifetime.
Yeah.
I have future business things with White Peony. Sorry, I'm going on a soapbox now.
Stand queen. Get it.
But I have told like my business mentor, my accountant, I'm like, yeah, we, economy is up and down and this and that, but like, this isn't an if, this is a when it's going to happen.
100%.
And I stand very strong in that. And you know that.
Oh.
If I have it and it's happening.
You guys,
and
when she calls and says, I have an idea, I'm like, hey, so we're doing
Everybody's
that.
like, shit.
Yeah.
Run away.
Who's doing what?
I understand that I'm in the messy middle, but I also understand the boundaries that I have to create so that when I come out of the messy middle, I'm working out of it. This is who I want to surround myself with. This is the type of work I'm going to be okay with. I don't have to know, like, am I going to retire at age 65?
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't have this timeline because I understand that life throws you curveballs. It's like setting boundaries little by little, moving into what you believe in, who you are, that is going to get you out of the messy middle.
As you were saying this, I got this visual, and follow with me. Close your eyes.
Ooh.
So honestly, I feel when you're saying this, I think we're going to be in the messy middle. I think everyone's in the messy middle for a really long time. I'd say the only time you're not in a messy middle is when you're sitting on a beach retired and like your biggest worry for the day is like, what am I having for lunch? Good for you. You earned that. But I think like in my mind, what I visualize is like you've got all these marbles and it's just messy. They're kind of rolling around and you're trying to sort them. So you're putting this over here in this category and you're putting this over here. But like as time changes, some of your marbles might have to shift over here. And there's always that pile, that mess in the middle until we're old and retired on a beach.
But listen, okay, I'm going to contrary that right now.
Do it.
You know where I'm going with this probably. I have been so fortunate, like life-changing, and hopefully at this point you all who are listening know this, to be on the board of directors for the Indie Foundation. I'm not here to wait until specific retirement age to live either.
100%.
So, okay, let this whole thing, this is like a therapy session amongst Alma and I at
we're
the same
sorting
time.
life right now as we go.
But you know what? Like, we're in the messy middle, but maybe the messy middle is like moments and like seasons of course. And maybe there is a time where we're absolutely out of that messy middle when, for example, I am going to Mexico with my daughter for her and her whole group and friends of ours in the winter for her senior trip. Well, maybe that's a moment to just be out of the damn messy middle and live.
Ooh.
Okay, or here's another one you and I can relate to. When we are sitting, you and I have been walking out the door at like 10 seconds before we have to like literally be in our car and gone from work because we're running our, excuse me language, asses off.
Nice.
Literally. And then, you're burnt out, like, oh, we're so tired, but we killed it. Or we're like, oh, that was a lot today. And then we go and we sit on a damn chair in a field watching your son play football or watching one of my daughters play softball, and it's gone. I have done a very dang good job over the last year or two channeling that shit in differently and being present.
Presence.
So, okay, the messy middle, and I feel like I'm in this season of my life. I feel like when I was 20, I was in the messy middle. When I was in high school, I was in the messy middle. You always think but maybe life just is kind of a messy middle. And then you decide when you're coming out of that or not.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is on those hard days, those messy days, those days that you're just like, I can't keep going, you find the silver lining, those small moments that mean something, where you're able to shut the rest of the world off and watch your son play football, watch your daughter play softball, watch your dogs run around your ducks, like just be.
Autumn has ducks, everybody.
I have 5 ducks,
Ducks.
and they're very therapeutic. I highly recommend it. But just being, because life is always going to be there. The work is always going to be when you pick it back up. But like, if you can't take the time to appreciate the small things, like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to go to another soapbox, because with you just saying that,
Yeah.
I put myself in a position 7 to 8 years ago, my previous employer, you guys, I had the position of my dreams. I love the people that I worked with. I was getting so burnt out in the worst possible, most unhealthy way. And I didn't really know it till the end. So let's say 8 or 9 years. And I'm going to paint you kind of a timeline. I worked hours. And if I didn't, and I left within 40 hours on a time clock, let me tell you, at home, that did not end at all. And when I think about my timeline too, and feel free to chime in after this, because I think it's story time.
Yeah.
My husband was in construction, so gone very early, very late at night, honestly, sometimes 6 to 7 days a week. Or off, hunting. And so I also have been the default parent. And so I think of my time, think of my career at that time, I'm going to channel in here. And working a million hours, then I would leave. And I was so strung out in anxiety and stress because I had to leave that I was like, the whole ride home, I couldn't even debrief. I was so stressed. I was still thinking about how I was going to get done, what I was going to do either that night or the next morning, how I was going to fit it in the week. And then I pick up my child, and then I'm like, oh my God, you need me to keep you alive? And then you try to play music for them in the car, or you talk about mommy, blah, 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 and they're telling you stories. And I'm just literally paralyzed from stress.
Yeah.
In every regard. And actually, there is one point in that timeline towards the end, you guys, I was losing my hair. I have before pictures that I show some people and after, and I legitimately went and had extensions put in because I didn't know what else to do. My hair's coming out in like, not clumps, breaking off. I couldn't even get the top of my hair in a ponytail, and I have never had it cut that short, ever.
Yep.
I mean, it was so bad. You could see it in like the color of my skin tone, I feel like, even. And that's when I was eating fast food just to throw something in my mouth to get to the next meeting.
Your soul was dying.
Yeah. It really was. And then when I finally said I was going to do the boutique, and I was doing it for me, and then the next year was hard. It was really hard because not only was I working all those hours and all that stress at work, I was doing this in addition to, and then I really didn't get more than 4 to 5 hours of sleep, and it was 7 days a week. But I just knew there was a silver lining that was going to come through. That messy middle was so difficult. It was so difficult. I never once, because then I owned a business and I had to prove it to everybody. I had to prove it to my husband. I had to prove it to my family that all of this was worth their time and effort. And there's a lot that I try to prove in the beginning of business that I would never recommend on anyone, by the way. And that's another book. I'm going to write a book about that one, actually. However, it wasn't until I'd say within the last 2 to 3 years, and thanks to my very best friend Tara as well, said, like, everyone is fine. You're doing a good job. Chill out. We're here for you. Like, you are so good at being like, Lindsay, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on vacation and you're like, I got it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to be the person for someone else too, by the way.
Yes.
But to be like, I've got it.
Go.
You go relax. So it wasn't like an instant thing where I was like, okay, you're right, and just shut it off. Absolutely not. It took a little time. It took the people that I surrounded myself with.
Yeah.
But finally, within the last 2 or 3 years, I would say 90% of the time within the last year, I can say that when I walk away from work, I'm walking away from work.
Which is
huge.
I never thought you would say that.
Ever. And what I am going to tell you is I'm learning. We're kind of going through this together because I can feel that more from you as well.
100%.
And it's like you feed off each other. It's such a great, very healthy, an incredible thing. So as we live in the messy middle, in different seasons of our life, when you win and you come out of that is when you figure out what is life altering or not. Like, for example, and this needs to be in the next episode, is, I'm going to throw her name in here, Tara. She has a new career. She's going through a lot. She is so busy. And she is the perfect reminder of now me flipping the script and looking at her and being like, okay, like I put myself in the same shoes as when I had that crazy chaos life. And I'm like, don't go back, Tara.
Yep.
She did such a phenomenal job protecting her peace
Yeah.
and bringing that to all of us. I look up to her in so many ways.
100%.
And I look at what she's like in her season right now, and I'm like, she's in the messy middle, but she's reminding herself very often that like her family's number one.
Yes.
She's like, I'm going to walk away from this. And we'll sit and talk about this with her on here because I know she wants to do this again, that she'll say it's freaking hard.
Yeah.
And you are going to have some probably low points and whatnot, but it is the honoring of the seasons.
Yeah.
But then even if it's like an hour at lunchtime to walk away, you walk away.
Absolutely. I think 2 things I took away from what you're saying is, 1, ladies and Linz, you're enough the way that you are. There's nothing you have to prove to anyone to prove your worth, to prove your work ethic. You just be authentically yourself. It shows. And the people around you notice. If they don't, then screw them. Because honestly, they ain't your people. And one other thing that I have learned in the balance that we all strive for, that's not real, by the way, is setting things down and actually allowing yourself a certain amount of time. So especially with my kids, I'll catch myself. I'm always a doer. So like there's always things, a running list, a running tab at home that I could be working on this. But I look at my kids and I see, I have a Google TV and it shows past photos like of your kids being little, and it reminds me every single day how fast it goes.
I love that.
And I look at my kids and I'm like, I'm going to give you a half hour or an hour where you shut everything else off, and the only thing that matters at that moment is your family. Or the thing that means the most to you, because there are times that you have to actually block off in your day, if you're somebody that, like us, kind of runs 24/7, to allow yourself to let go. Yeah.
You know, I think from growth, from us kind of growing together personally and professionally, for me, it truly has been like life-changing to kind of talk about that messy middle more.
Yeah.
It's been about the good, the bad, how I feel, how we're handling it. Hearing other people and relating to that makes a really big difference. And I think there's something to be said about that. I often talk about like we're all influencers and nobody wants to get on a video or camera and go online. Everyone's like, how do you do that? I'm like, trust me. I did not. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would not be.
Look at her bloopers from yesterday.
Yeah. I would not be in front of the camera. I would have told you that no way. Absolutely not. But once you start understanding that you're not alone, a lot of people are in the messy middle trying to figure it out together, or not together, but on their own. Once you can like open up, talk about it a little bit more. And because I think when we were little, we never talked about any of this shit.
No. And I think, because people ask me that all the time, they're like, how do you show up on the social media all the time? And I think it took a lot of time to just be like, okay with your authentic self. Like, I'm gonna be me, and it took a little bit of time to be able to feel comfortable showing who that person is. But like, we live in a world right now where everything's an Instagram highlight reel, and so guess what, everyone's family is perfectly curated and the outfits are perfect and the filters are perfect, and you're only catching the 1 out of 75 shots you took of yourself. And you think about this and you're like, and everyone else did the same exact thing. They're not seeing the behind the scenes, and that is something that I think we are trying to do more of, is showing you kind of that raw, unedited, the authentic self. Because yes, can you curate a perfect picture after 20 takes and a perfect filter? Yeah, anyone can do that. But I think it's showing the authentic heart, yourself, the personality behind it that means something, especially in this world.
And I feel like it's trending more to that.
Yes.
Thank goodness. Love that. I always say, like, you know, when I was younger and insecure, I had to put on all this makeup, and I was like just stuck in a zone. And I feel like I look at my kids and I'm like, God, you're so damn beautiful, but it's so natural. Like, they don't need to be something they're not.
100%.
I think it's a lot better. And, you know, I think everybody struggles at times. I'm not painting a picture of it being perfect for the next generation or whatever that looks like. But I'm just saying, I also think it has been better for everyone that we're able to talk about it. I used to never take, oh my gosh, if I did photos, you guys, I was such a recovering perfectionist that like I would be disabled afterwards because I couldn't look at myself in a photo. I struggled because even though I have many, many photos, it is a rare occasion that I let someone take a photo of myself.
Rare occasion.
It has come so far, because what I have seen from the boutique, starting from day one, is, you know, pictures look perfect, and you pick one out of a million, they're not perfect. And when I take them of other people, I see the true natural beauty, even unfiltered, even when it's not perfect, even when your hair isn't whatever, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I love everything about what I've had the opportunity to learn in that perspective,
Yeah.
I guess.
That is probably one of the best things about when we take photos of customers or the teachers that we just had. It's like they come in with a lot of insecurities or nervous energy or those types of things. And it's like, I'm just showcasing your natural beauty. You are just beautiful the way you are.
Yeah.
And I think, again, everyone looks at these pictures like we take a lot, by the way. We take a lot of photos. And they're like, you look so good. It's like, girl, that was number 27 of one shot. And you too can look like that with lots of shots and lots of filters. So
But if you would have told me that before, I would have never believed you.
yes, and it's just a process. And it's
is
a
a
process of
process.
loving yourself. And I think us doing that for the next generation is huge, because
agree.
I think that's also been a messy middle, is coming from a generation where we felt like we had to look a certain way, be a certain size, and do those things. I think for us now, and for my mentality and having a little girl, and especially having a little girl, I keep thinking to myself that I want to be that positive role model for her and what that would look like.
Yeah.
And it's okay to show her that, like, I'm not perfect, I'm a little silly, all the things, but also just being just who she is. My daughter is exactly who she is.
Yes.
And I cannot put out that fire if I even tried. And I want her to embrace that her whole life.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it is so, I don't know where it stems from that we have just thought we've had to have it all figured out and all put together. I don't know where or why we have always just had this pressure of feeling like we have to have it all put together, all figured out. But I think over time, and maybe that's with age too, and maybe it's a whole generational thing, that it is getting a little bit better to see that unfiltered.
I think it takes podcasts like this and episodes like this and books and those things where we slowly take down the walls we've built up for so many years of what we think our life should look like, because it's not perfect.
No, it's not.
Just messy. And there are beautiful moments and ugly moments, but that's the beauty of it.
There is. And I would just challenge you to lean in to a friend or friends. And if maybe you feel uncomfortable talking to someone, maybe you need to find someone else. Maybe you need to surround yourself with someone different. And no offense to any you or your friends or anything like that, but there's a time and a place, and there are definitely my go-tos, my absolute go-tos that I don't necessarily want you to feed in with fluff. I want you to challenge my question. I want you sometimes to just listen to me. I don't know. I just sometimes want you to be there without even having to say anything. But I think it's important too when someone says to you, oh my gosh, I completely understand that. Oof. I get it. Like I'm there. I've been there. And it's not to like one up your story. It's just to validate, like, that's valid. Oh gosh, I can't imagine feeling that way, and it sucks, you know, or whatever that may look like, good, bad, or in between. It's leaning into the people around you to have that conversation when you need to. Absolutely. I think it's opening up and not hiding how you're feeling, not hiding what you're going through.
I think just reminding yourself too, like, this shall pass. Like, you're going to fall forward. You might fall flat on your face, but you will get up again. And it's something, again, when we talk about strength, like, these are small little reminders in your confidence bucket that you can take on the world, you can take on life. You went through something really crappy, but your resilience, your strength has grown that much more to prove to yourself you can.
No, I think the message here is more doesn't mean more things, more things on your to-do list. It means more purpose, more presence, and simply just being sometimes.
Yeah.
What does made for more mean to you right now?
This question, I was like, oh, that's another like heavy hitter. And I think made for more is ever changing. So made for more right now for me is a lot of presence. It's a lot of peace. It's a lot of boundaries. It's actually saying no to more things, because again, you're learning that life, it's going so fast. And I have to know what's important to me and not what I just feel like everyone wants me to do. And I am trying to honor those feelings. And it's hard. I mean, more is sometimes hard. But again, it's not doing more. It's doing more for yourself to give yourself grace and give yourself the opportunity and the permission to live life in your authentic self.
I love that, because as an overachiever, or achievement is one of my things from when I was little. If you're listening right now and you're like, I don't feel like I'm doing something extraordinary, or I need to add to my to-do list to feel like I need to accomplish more and bigger things, it isn't about that. It's not about your achievements. It's about you.
Yeah.
And diving into you and what makes you a better you, what makes you a happier you, what makes you a healthier you.
100%. I think the resounding thing, and especially if this is women that are listening to this, is you're already enough the way you are. There's no way to, you don't need to prove yourself, your worth, your efforts, your anything. You need to be you. You need to be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. If that means that you're completely changing job careers, or you want to stay at home with your kids, or you want to try this new business venture, or maybe you want to travel, whatever that looks like for you, more, like I said, could be stepping back, could be stepping forward, but like knowing that you're enough the way you are, you don't have to add things to your title, to your whatever, to be worthy of it, of life.
You can be imperfect, overwhelmed, and you can still be really damn powerful.
Literally.
Mic drop.
Mic drop.
I think this is a conversation that needs to continue. I feel like we could branch out in so many different ways and keep talking. This is powerful. And I think a good reminder for so many listeners across the board.
Yeah.
This is a journey. Whatever you want to categorize your messy middle as, is different for everybody. But give yourself a little bit of grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, and actually maybe sit in your messy middle, take a moment and like reflect on like what's going to make you the best version of you. Sometimes,
I will say this, you just need a good cry. And is it cathartic? Is that the word?
What?
Yeah. Yep. A good cry is cathartic, because you're honoring the feelings, your emotions the way they are. But like, there's been so many times that I just like have a good cry and I feel so much better. I released the feelings, I released those moments. And I think, like you said, sitting in them at that moment and honoring the fact of like, this is just a season. And again, falling forward is still forward. So remind yourself of the strength, the things you overcame, and realize you're going to do that over and over again. Just pave your path.
Love that. Well, friends, if you're still listening, I hope this episode reminds you that you don't have to wait for perfection to believe in your purpose. You don't need to have it all together to be impactful. You can be a little chaotic, a little undone, a little emotional, and still be doing something extraordinary. Autumn and I are right here with you, showing up, fumbling forward, doing our best. And if all you do today was try again, take a deep breath and keep going, just know that's more than enough. You're made for more, even in the mess, that messy middle, especially in that messy middle. Thank you for being here with Autumn and I today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend. If you're looking for more information on the topics we covered, please head to the show notes below. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star rating and review, this would help this mission and our journey to get started. Let's make today and every day an opportunity to level up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep making a difference.